Plaintiff Linda Heminger has known the defendant for 4 years. And although he is sweet and loving, she claims he's also a liar and a thief. Linda claims the defendant has a history of suing people to make a quick buck, but she's suing him today for the balance due on a loan. Defendant Carlton Massengill admits that he's been involved in a few lawsuits, but insists they've all been a direct result of him getting hurt on the job. Carlton insists he repaid a majority of the loan, but he refuses to pay anything else because Linda's husband threatened him, so he's countersuing for harassment.
Start with you.
Yes, this gentleman and I, we've been friends for many years, and he's just so sweet and loving and animated, and I'm a grandmother, you could just eat him with a spoon. He's so adorable. But I also found out that he's also a liar and a con artist and a thief, and that's why we're here. We worked together at a florist and at a craft store, and there was an incident at the florist where he had been out to a client's house, and when he came back, he was limping. And somebody asked him what happened, and he said he fell off a ladder. Well, we all kind of rolled our eyes because we knew what that meant. Because he and his partners sue people all the time. They sue. If he's worked for you, he sues you. If you've been in his hotel, he's going to sue you, and he's probably going to sue you. So that's just the way he is. That's his work.
You better watch out.
I love him to death, I really do. And today we're here to rectify the wrong that a friend did to another friend.
All right, let me hear from you, sir.
Linda and I have been friends for about 4 years. Love her, still love her. She's a straight shooter. We had a little agreement.
What type of problems have you all had with your relationship, if any, prior to this? Any?
Not as far as I can tell.
All right, how about you being suit happy?
Well, let me see. Most of my lawsuits were workman's comp lawsuits, so.
So you go get hired, and then you fall out on the job and get them to pay you.
I don't know exactly, Your Honor. Falling 20 feet from a ladder when somebody moves out from under, it's not really a joke. And landing on your feet.
She says all your lawsuits have been, for the most part, con. You're faking it.
Well.
Like you came back limping one time from a delivery.
Well, actually,
did you fall in that time, or what happened?
No,
You all
it was
right?
a Christmas installation. We were installing Christmas decorations on the eve of a house.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think the medical records would lie about the lawsuit. We got paid.
Oh, yeah.
Medical
when you got
records
a
are
doctor.
true.
Oh, never mind. I don't want to cast an aspersion on the legal profession. So you're right.
Never would I comment.
You're right. If the lawyers proved it, it's true.
I guess you're right.
All right. And tell me about the loan you're suing him for.
He approached me on July the 1st in 2014 and wanted to borrow $500 to go visit his mother. He told me he would pay me back in 2 weeks. Well, 2 weeks came and went, and 3 weeks came and went. And he gave me a check for $500 as collateral, and I gave him a check for $500.
Okay.
And he said, you know, if I don't pay you back, you can cash the check. So I went on September the 8th, and that's 2014, to cash the check. Mm-hmm. And he had stopped payment on the check. And I called him and said, you stopped payment on the check? And he's like, well, I lost my checkbook, but I have evidence to prove otherwise, where he did call the bank.
Let's see it, please. Why are you only suing for $480, though, if it was $500?
He paid me $20.
Oh, that was nice of him.
I thought so.
Go ahead, sir. How do you respond to this?
Well, pretty much what she said is about the gist of it, except that I told her when I got back, we only get paid every 2 weeks for one job, and we get paid weekly at the other. But when I got back from visiting my mother, my hours were greatly reduced at work, and I couldn't quite meet the obligations, so we had some other issues trying to keep the bills floating in the house, and you know, the agreement was I could pay her a little bit along as I could with pay, and she was fine with that. She said she'd take it in installments.
Did you stop payment on the check?
I did stop payment on the check because she made one of the phone calls to me. She called me one night about 10:30, and I love Linda, and she had a glass of wine, and she was sort of.
How you know what she had a glass of wine?
I know Linda.
Go ahead.
Anyway, so she had a glass of wine or something, and so she was sort of like, look now you got to pay me now. You got to pay me. I said, yeah, I understand. Says, We don't want John to find out. I'm trying to keep him from knowing this because we'll have trouble now if John finds out. John, I'm sorry, it's her husband. So I said, okay. And so the money was very tight. I was having trouble even putting food in our house. At any rate, beyond that, she had been very patient along the way, and I decided...
So what made you stop the check?
I decided to stop the payment because at that point in time, a $500 check running through my bank would create a criminal issue, been a problem if it didn't clear, because I wasn't making that much a week. So then we'd start a criminal issue versus a civil issue. So she says, well, you got to pay me. She calls me. I said, I will. I'll be paying you as soon as I can. And so along the way, we made some installments and some payments. Across
$20?
2014, no, we paid $150.
When, sir?
On 3 payments of $50 to her. I paid her $150 in cash. I would drive by her house and make installments when I could.
So how much do you believe you owe?
I paid her $150 of the $500. Due to the harassment and the phone calls I received from her husband and the threats, I don't feel like I owe her anything.
What did he do, sir? She told you don't let him find out about it.
Well, he did. She did.
I warned him.
And she was right.
What did he do? What did he do?
Well, what happened was I was at work not long ago, about 10 o'clock at night. My boss was like, who is buzzing up your phone? About 7 phone calls, one right behind another. I said, it's Linda Heminger. It's a friend of mine. I said, she's probably had a glass of wine. She's going to cuss me out. I owe her a little bit of money. So at any rate, once I finished, the time I got home, played it, my husband, I'm like, that's not Linda. I'm like, no, that's John. That's her husband. I don't understand what's going on because the agreement between me and her, I've never even spoke to her husband, but he's calling me, blowing up my phone. We're going to put you in jail. We're going to put you under the jailhouse. You're going to pay. When we go to court, not only are we going to get the $350 you owe, you're going to pay everything. We're going to deny you paid anything. You're going to pay the entire $500. We're going to get interest too. I'm like, okay, but...
what was wrong with that? What did he do wrong?
Well, he stated the fact, but the agreement was between me and her. I didn't even know, never had a word with him. But basically, this is 10:30 at night. He's leaving this message. I'm playing it about 11:30. The next day, I had till 10 o'clock the next morning to pay the $350.
That's what he told you?
Yeah. I got till 10 o'clock the next morning to come up with $350 from 11 o'clock the night before. Well, how many people could raise $350 in less than 12 hours? Payday's not even till 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday afternoon, much less 10 o'clock Friday morning. So at any rate, then within a week, I was served papers, and we're here trying to figure out how to settle it.
All right. Well, first of all, she didn't harass you, so you can't sue her for the harassment, and you can't sue her for what her husband did. So we're going to have to dismiss your claim against her. With regard to the loan amount that you claim you have repaid, and she claims you have not paid, she presents me with verification that you did call and cancel the check a short time after issuing it. And I'm convinced then that you didn't intend to allow her to use that check as collateral. And therefore, I'm going to believe her and her testimony. You are a very convincing talker. And so convincing, I believe you're a con man. Seriously, because you've convinced me for the most part. I'm sitting over here making up reasons to give this woman a judgment, because you've talked so smooth over there, Doc.
You see
But
how
I'm going to have to believe her, because you overtalked yourself. You know, you can overplay you. In the game, they say you don't overplay your hand.
Yep.
You've overplayed your hand today. You should stop right. You got to learn that sweet spot when you're playing the con. You got to learn to get right there and stop. Because you go too far, you overplay your con. All right, $480 for the plaintiff. I believe you.
Thank you.
And I'll have to dismiss your claim. You can sue her husband, bring him back, but doesn't sound like you want to be bothered with bringing him in here. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
I still love him. He's so sweet and cuddly. He's just a really nice guy.
Love you.
Love you too. Thank you. Don't do it again.
Won't.